I'm Hannan.
This is the show that asks pedestrian questions to experienced and educated experts. Basically what we're doing here, folks, is we're trying to teach you and we're trying to teach ourselves. Me and Hannan, we're both notable dummies, and so we're trying to get some experts in here to answer some questions for us to hopefully educate us, because if we can learn it, pretty much anyone can.
Absolutely true, Donnie.
So,
go ahead.
well, today we'll be joined by Darin Flynn. He's an associate professor of linguistics at the University of Calgary. He's also an expert in profanity and swearing. So today's topic is going to be about language, but in a more specific sense. Today we're going to be talking about profanity. Now, first of all, we're being joined by a professor of linguistics today, Hannan.
Yeah, Donnie.
Yes?
What do you think a linguistics professor?
Clearly not you, but okay. So basically, what we like to do at the start of every episode is a little segment we call Agree or Disagree. And today's question is, what exactly is linguistics? So I think I'll start off. I think I have a pretty good sense of this. It seems pretty simple to me. I think that linguistics is just basically the study of language. In a broader sense, how language is constructed. I think that sounds like the simplest explanation, and in my experience, the simplest explanation is usually the correct one. Hannan?
Well, Donnie, I think I have an even simpler explanation, and I think it is linguistics is the study of lingo.
Of lingo?
Of lingo. There's an episode of The Simpsons where Lisa creates this robot that is very articulate, and she named him Lingo.
Okay, so are you...
And the word lingo kind of sounds like linguistics.
Yeah, I think lingo is just a slang word for like language, though. I don't think it's an actual technical term.
Okay, well then...
Like, are you saying that the study of...
I think it's like the study of like...
No, lingo is not the study of anything. That's what linguistics is.
Okay, but lingo is... Okay, linguistics, I think, is like more... not so much... I think it's more culture-based than just...
So, how would you define lingo? I'm just a little confused.
I don't know, okay, she's the bee's knees.
That's so like an expression.
Yes,
okay. Well, this is why we have our friend Darin here today.
Yep.
Hopefully he'll shed some light on us. Neither of us are experts. Whenever we ask one of these questions, we take our pride in answering from our gut, no research.
And our
hearts and guts.
Yeah.
You know, that's how you win friends. So hopefully he'll be able to shed some light on it. Now, before we get into our interview here in a few moments, I'd like to start by just playing a little clip. It's probably something you're all very familiar with, at least any of you who are interested in comedy or comedians. It's because we're going specifically on the topic of swearing and profanity, we'd like to hand it over to someone who had a few more elegant things than we'll ever have to say about it, George Carlin. So if you'd like to go ahead and play the clip, Producer Alex. We have the 1 moment sign.
Yeah.
Sometimes, well, hell yeah. Sometimes it's okay, but not all the time. And they're the only words that seem to have that restriction. I mean, there are a lot of words you can say whenever you want, you know. Pneumonia! Nobody gives you a lot of... All right, you can't yell it in the hospital a great deal, but what the hell? There are words that you can say, no problem. Topography! No one has ever gone to jail for screaming topography. But there are some words that you can go to jail for. There are some words that we just have decided we will not say all the time. Sometimes, okay. If you're running through the jungle chasing somebody that we're at war with, you can holler them. If you're shooting a criminal, it's okay. It's the all-American thing. Dirty fucking crook. But if you're with the bishop's wife at lunch, it's better not to ask for the goddamn lettuce. You know what I mean? It's just like we've decided there'll be some words we won't say all the time. And I was just trying to find out which words they were. For sure, all of them. I wanted a list. Because nobody gives you a list. That's the problem. They don't give you a list. Wouldn't you think it'd be normal if they didn't want you to say something to tell you what it is? Nobody even tells you when you're a kid what the words are that you're supposed to avoid. You have to say them to find out which ones they are. Shit! Oh, fuck! That's two. Oh, Ma, that's enough trial and error, huh? Please, Ma, give me a list, huh? All right, you're 6 years old now. And here's the list of words your dad and I don't ever want to hear you say. Oh, hey, thanks, Ma. Boy, that's going to save me an ass kicking or two. Yeah, you never know what's going to be on the list.
And there you have it. George Carlin talking a bit about what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. And I think the point we're trying to get at here is that when it comes to swearing, a lot of what's considered swearing is context-based. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
There's certain things that you can say that may not be polite conversation, but certainly wouldn't get you in trouble. Like, for example, if this radio show were in the middle of the day on a Sunday and we had just played that clip, we might be in a little trouble, yes. But since it's a little later at night, it's a radio show, and we're having an academic discussion on it. I'd like to think that it's okay. Certainly, if you have any issues with it, you can always hit us up on Twitter. Give us a call. Yeah, do you have the number here, Hannan?
Do I have the number? Of course I don't.
Well, we'll get that by the end of the show for you. Okay. This is our first episode, folks.
Believe it or not.
Yeah, we're not exactly seasoned pros at this, but we hope that you take this ride with us. Mm-hmm. And again, we all want to just learn a few things. Right now, we're just trying to get connected to Professor Flynn. Seem to be having some technical difficulty, but again, it's just we'll get him on the line shortly here. In the meantime, Hannan.
Yes.
Have you ever been in a situation where you've let out a word that maybe you didn't know was inappropriate, maybe you didn't know was a swear word? Ever run into any trouble?
No. Well, not that I know of or remember right now. Well, not that I remember right
now. You still don't know that they're bad words. That's it.
No one's ever taught me wrong.
Yeah. Just afraid to correct you.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Do you have any moments where you've gotten in trouble for saying what's considered a swear word, I guess?
Well, I mean, I guess just in the same sense that we all do. I mean, as a kid... it's like I mentioned in the George Carlin clip there, you say things, you repeat things that friends have said or that you've heard in songs or movies, and then I mean
your mouth got washed out with soap.
Or the equivalent of that, a stern lecturing in the Kehoe household.
Okay, I think I was lucky because my parents were immigrants, and I think I got away with a lot more than other kids should have because.
They just didn't know?
They don't know. They didn't know. And sometimes they were asking me certain words that I was like, yo, you're not supposed to say that.
Now, that brings up an interesting point.
Mm-hmm.
Now, your parents, English is their second language?
Correct.
What is their primary language?
Oh, well, my father speaks Arabic mostly.
Okay.
And then my mother speaks Amharic, which is... Ethiopian, I guess.
Okay. So, do you know any swearing in either of those languages? Not to repeat it on air, just as a broad question.
No, I don't. Which is so weird because normally when you do know other languages, you only know the swears of them. Which I actually
that's
don't.
usually the first thing anyone wants to learn is how to swear in another language.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe my parents have sworn a lot, and I just have no idea.
Just no interest in your culture.
None
at all.
I'm the worst.
Blissful ignorance.
I don't know what they speak. They don't speak English.
some other language. Who knows?
Whatever.
But I do find that it's hard to have a clear estimate on it. But I do find that swearing seems to be more prevalent in English culture, just based on television and movies. Do you agree with that or disagree?
I do, but I just learned something about swear words that
Ooh.
I know. I'm not that I was studying
We're
anything.
teaching ourselves here.
I know, but I didn't mean to. I just kind of brought it up with a friend, and they said that swear words are very cultural based, and it's based on the fears of the culture.
Okay.
Right? So North American swears are usually around sexuality.
Okay.
And you're like, and sex, and like French swears are based around religion.
Well, certainly the Quebecois swearing.
Oh yes, the famous.
I don't even know.
I
don't even know if you can get away with it because they're all actual words and things. Like, okay, I'll just toss it out there. Tabernacle.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. Sorry.
I'm saying that purely in the academic sense of the tabernacle of a church, but it makes sense because that's Quebec was a predominantly Catholic area. Most of their streets are named after saints. Lots of churches everywhere. So yeah, it does make sense that the cursing. I mean, that's what cursing is. You're cursing an idea or a concept. So that makes sense to me. I mean, once we figure out how to get Professor Flynn on the line, I'm sure he has a few things to add to that.
And apparently Eastern Europe is disease. That's a lot of their swear words come from the fear of disease.
Cholera.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to take a quick break here. We'll let you enjoy a quick song for a moment, and we'll be right back with you.
Wake up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy. Got my glasses, I'm out the... Wake up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy. Got my glasses, I'm out the door, I'm gonna hit the city. Before I leave, brush my teeth and then I go and pack. Cause when I leave for the night, I ain't coming back. I'm talking pedicures on our toes, trying on all our clothes, boys blowing up our phones. Drop top and playing our favorite CDs, pulling up to the parties, trying to get a little bit silly. Don't stop, make it pop, DJ blow my speakers up tonight. I'm alright till we see the sunlight. Tick tock on the clock, but the party don't stop and no. Don't stop, make it pop, DJ blow my speakers up tonight. I'm alright till we see the sunlight. Tick tock on the clock, but the party don't stop, no. Don't stop, make it pop, DJ blow my speakers up tonight. I'm alright till we see the sunlight. Tick tock on the clock, but the party don't stop, and no. Don't stop, make it pop, DJ blow my speakers up tonight. I'm alright till we see the sunlight. Tick tock on the clock, but the party don't stop, no. You build me up, you break me down. My heart it pounds, yeah, you got me. With my hands up, you got me now. You got that sound, yeah, you got me. You build me up, you break me down. My heart it pounds, yeah, you got me. With my hands up, put your hands up, put your hands up. No, the party don't start till I walk in. Don't stop, make it pop, DJ blow my speakers up tonight. I'm alright till we see the sunlight. Tick tock on the clock, but the party don't stop, and no.
All right, I hope you all enjoyed that.
Yeah, was that like? That sounded like children singing that Kesha song.
That was Kids Bop covering
Kids
TikTok
Bop.
by Kesha.
Perfect. Very appropriate for this show.
Yes, very appropriate. Now, I believe we have the professor on the line now.
You do? Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
This is Darin Flynn of the University of Calgary. He's the Associate Professor of Linguistics. How are you today, sir?
Pretty good. How are you? It's Donald in Hannan, is it?
That's right, yes. So we're here to talk to you about language and specifically about swearing. First off, we'd like to get into, we were talking off the top here about exactly what it is you do. In the simplest way possible, how would you define what is linguistics?
It's the science of studying how language works. Yeah, so it's figuring out how humans are able to understand and be understood by other humans.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so
I would say my definition was a bit closer to the mark.
tell Darin what your definition was.
Well, my definition was basically that it's the study of the structure of language was my layman's definition. And Hannan, what did you think it was again?
I said it was the study of lingo.
And what did you think lingo is specifically?
I don't know. Now that
Okay, so now how would you define swearing? What is swearing?
Swearing is pure expression, because a lot of language is descriptors, describing situations, objects, mental states to other people. But there are other parts of language, and one of those is like expressing of emotions, things like wow, and swear words are closer to the emotion side. They tend to be, negative emotions like anger or frustration, but they can also be really positive too.
Okay,
Oh, yeah,
and
interesting.
you bring up an interesting point because there are words like wow and things like that wouldn't be considered impolite in any company. What would you say makes a swear word a swear word? Why does it have that distinction of being something that stands out?
Because it has a connection to taboo. So it has a historic connection to things like sex or excrement or, scary things like religious, God's anger or something like that.
Right.
And so it's those connections to taboo subjects that give it its bite.
Right. Which vary from culture to culture, right?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, so like Japanese... you guys know about Tourette syndrome, right? Where how people that can't control their swear words, that part of the brain that inhibits our use of swear words is kind of not working. And so Japanese Tourette syndrome victims will curse about their ancestors, and invoking their grandmother in ways that are really extremely taboo. So it varies from culture to culture. And so Tourette syndrome. English speakers might, give their middle finger to somebody, whereas that won't happen to in a different culture.
Oh, that is so interesting.
Yeah, that is, and would you say that's? I assume that's why the religious-based swearing has kind of decreased in our modern culture in terms of it being as taboo as it used to be. Now it's more fornication and excrement-based, if anything.
Yeah. There's a new book by it's an English lit prof called Melissa Moore, who her book's called Holy Shit, and it's a history of swearing. And she argues that her book is basically divided into the holy and the shit.
Yeah.
And she argues that in the 1600s, 1700s, it was really about religion then, because people didn't think all that much about pooping in front of each other, having sex in front of each other, because there was no privacy at all back then.
Right.
Everything was in front of each other, but when privacy and people's private spaces were invented later, then swear words became more associated with body parts and body functions, and even referring to somebody's leg in the Victorian area was taboo. But before then, it was less sensitive. So I think we've generally have less religious terms than we used to. It used to be terrible back then to say something like Mother of God or even Oh my God.
Yeah.
And it was believed that Christ's body was ripped apart literally when you would say something like Jesus Christ. So people took that very, very seriously. And now people have chilled on the religious side.
Yeah, people stopped believing that, I guess. A lot of them.
Well, I think it's just popular culture has become a bit more secular. Now, it's interesting. Do you think there's any particular reason why this sort of scatological swearing has kind of been so pervasive? Why it seems to be common across a lot of different languages and persists today?
Well, I think across cultures people recognize it as dirty and unhealthy, I suppose. But
Okay.
It just elicits. Yeah, there's nothing that kind of brings you so much down to, like you picture somebody going down the red carpet to some Hollywood event dressed in a $100,000 dress, and like if they step in a big pile of crap, it just brings you right down to earth.
That's
and,
true.
And you just and you'll find yourself saying crap or shit.
Even the Pope poops.
Yeah, and poop and yeah, which is funny because I mean one of my I'm into hip hop, and one of my favorite lines by Wiz Khalifa is he says I'm the shit, literally. And it's so brilliant because in hip hop it's all about being real and about not being fake, not being saccharine and an imposter. And there's nothing more real than stepping in crap. And so, like when you say I'm the shit, I'm the pure essence of what's real. It's really brings you down to earth. Yeah. And he throws it in the literally in there to throw us off because of course literally now means figuratively.
Yeah, it doesn't mean yeah.
Yeah, that is an interesting line because it touches on that and on the. Of course, other people have talked about literally changing meaning over time, and it's like vernacular usage. So that's really good. And I am aware that you are a bit of a fan of hip hop. I know you have a book being released next month entitled Eminem and Rap Poetry Race, a collection of essays, and there is a chapter, I believe, which basically breaks down Eminem's language titled "The Black Vernacular versus a Cracker's Knack for Versus," which I like.
Yeah, I came up with that. I'm pretty proud of that title.
and it is interesting because Eminem's an artist who came up in an area and in a genre with mostly African American contemporaries, but his language for a lot of his songs is similar, but notably some things which wouldn't fly for him, like the N-word, is noticeably absent. And it just kind of touches on how swearing really is context-based, and what's appropriate is really based on where you're coming from.
Yeah, he's really profane. I mean, he says, like a fuck you for Christmas, my gift is a curse, he says. And his curse is the curse. But you're right that nothing seems off bounds except the N-word for him. But he will, refer to the N-word, and he'll end a line in a song with something that doesn't rhyme, but you can tell that it's supposed to rhyme with the N-word, and so he'll put it in funny ways, or
to play with your
he'll say like
expectations.
my whizzle, things like that, and you kind of know what he's referring to. Yeah, but he's respectful that way, and in spite of the fact that for him there's no doubt that that word has no negative connotations for him, because he listens to hip hop and he's surrounded by African Americans, and so it doesn't have a negative connotation, but he still understands that he's not supposed to use it.
Right.
Yeah, it is interesting that I'm sure he would have no negative impact for him to use it, but that it's such a powerful word that even still someone who would be completely accept it, well, maybe not completely accept it, but a lot more accept it than a lot of people still shies away from it. So it just goes to speak to how powerful language can be, especially taboo words.
Yeah, that's a very powerful word, and what's amazing. We were just talking about how you can change the word literally to figuratively. You can change the negative of shit to positive shit, as Wiz Khalifa did. Isn't it amazing that people could take such a loaded word as the N-word and turn it into an in-group term of affection?
Oh, yeah,
that has positive connotations. I mean, it just shows how language can be just twisted in so many ways.
Yeah, it's absolutely. To change the pace a bit, I have a question that I'm kind of interested in. I'm swearing... at least in English, it tends to sound like swearing. Aside from context and the individual words, swearing seems to have a similar sort of sound to it. Like they're called four-letter words. Most of them are short, one syllable. Do you have any thoughts on that? Like, what makes something sound like a curse word?
I agree. They have a particular sound. I mean, it's not something that's really well researched. So the authorities on swear words, there's one guy called Timothy J. Called How We Why We Curse, and it's a great book. But you have these book-length treatments of swear words, but they don't really talk about the sounds of swear. So that's a really great question.
Yeah.
First of all, they have really short vowels. So English has both long vowels and short vowels. So a lot of vowels like or are in the swear words. And they also have the consonants tend to be, we linguists call them grave consonants. So these are sounds that are made with the lips or the back of the tongue, or with both. And so these sounds are really overrepresented in taboo words. So words like, I don't know, like boob or prick or cock or puke or all slurs too, like kike or even canuck or what on. All these puka, wugga, these sorts of sounds show up just with huge frequency. So somehow that seems to make a good slur or a good swear word. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I wonder if we can create new swear words. Do you think
yeah,
that's possible?
some words just sound rude, like just when you hear them.
We should try to create one.
Yeah,
that's a challenge for you listeners out there.
Yeah,
Try to
well, I mean, like there's a Thai dish that's called meekrob, and people is like, oh man, that just sounds so nasty. Even though I'm sure it's delicious, and that's been picked up as a swear word. So we borrow words from other languages that just sound bad.
Yeah.
My wife is Persian, and I found out from my father-in-law as he was talking something else that he a thoughtful person, someone that really thinks in Persian, is called a motafaker. He said, what?
Oh yeah, that's
my new favorite word in Persian. So maybe as we borrow words from other languages, we can give them other meanings that weren't intended.
Now, do you think, because, I mean, specifically with television and music, it seems like a lot of the swear words we're familiar with, the S word, the F word, are becoming maybe not more common. I wouldn't be in a position to judge that, but
more
less
tolerant of it.
Yeah, do you think harsher swear words are going to develop to kind of take their place?
Actually, for the last 40, 50 years, it's just always been the same top 10 that are used over and over again. And I mean, I think it's true that some there's a lot of properties to swear words, and you can deploy them in different ways. So like the bitch word, for instance, can be used positively, surprisingly.
Right.
Like Meredith Brooks.
So people are able to deploy them in various ways. But then again, when you want to use the bitch word negatively, you can. So
yeah. Well, it's interesting.
TV is certainly now representing more the way people actually talk. It's less of a purified version now. It's representing people more accurately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's famously Bono dropping the F-bomb and not being fined by the FCC is. I don't know if we've backslid a bit since then. It seems like it does seem to me like these things tend to go in phases too. Like it ebbs and flows. How tolerant people are of these things.
But it doesn't make sense to me because all of those swear words have synonyms. So why aren't there synonyms? Like what's the difference between saying shit and saying crap or saying poop? And whatever.
It's all different levels of intensity, and just doesn't quite cut it. Like there's.
You're right.
When you say shoot instead of shit, those are called euphemisms or sugar. It doesn't have the same emotional impact. Like swear words are documented. They actually cause electricity in your skin. They light up your amygdala in the brain, and they have these effects on you that euphemisms don't. We're not even sure that when you say something like sugar that it actually primes the meaning of shit in your head, so that they don't even necessarily work. These euphemisms, they really are in a category of their own. When you say like Dick Cheney said the F word, it doesn't have the same weight as saying Dick Cheney said fuck off. Like somehow just the word itself, once it's released out there, it just has a devastating effect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so your brain actually knows when you're kind of faking it. That's interesting.
But what about if I say turd instead of shit? Because it still means turd. Like it still means poo or excrement. But I get it. Like it's not as heavy, but it's still the same meaning.
Yeah, research needs to be done into this about how effective these weaker terms are. And there's the more extreme swear words and the less extreme ones. Mm-hmm. And part of our knowledge is knowing which ones to deploy when and where. and how they're used in different contexts with different people.
Yeah.
That's an
So
interesting...
there's certainly the right context for using turd as opposed to crap, which is weaker than... And even crap used to be much more offensive than it is now.
Right. I guess so.
Do you know if there's any research being done that's on your radar into swearing and its effect?
Yeah. So the leader I mentioned, his name is Timothy J. I really recommend stuff by him. He has really great articles. One that I would recommend is called "The Utility and Ubiquity of Taboo Words." It's a great read. There's a brilliant undergrad student called Adam Kroom in Pennsylvania that's breaking down slurs, looking at how words like slut or the N-word are being used by different segments of the population, and his stuff is really neat. There's great slang dictionaries by a guy called Jonathan Green. There's lots of books. I mentioned that book by Melissa Moore before on A Brief History of Swearing. There's a lot of research from different perspectives. So Timothy J is a psychologist, so he's able to run experiments on people and their effects, the effects of swear words on them. One really cool experiment, I don't know if you heard about this one, is about how your tolerance to pain is increased with swearing.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, it was Richard Stevens and his colleagues ran these experiments where they had people put their hands in really cold water and see how long they could last. And they found that if they swore, they could last 45 seconds longer with their hands in the water than if they didn't swear.
Huh.
Because you're not like holding back or anything. I feel like it's because you're like releasing when you swear.
Yeah, there's
know?
something. There's some positive uses of swears. That's an example. Another positive use of swear is that instead of coming to blows with somebody, you can use a swear word, right? I mean, like animals, other non-human animals don't have that recourse. They have to come to blows, whereas you can have a verbal jousting. You can tell somebody to F off, and without actually having to implement it with a punch or something. And so I think there's a number of positive aspects to swearing.
So we should be swearing a lot more. Should you say that? Like, do you think that's like it's good for our health? Can we say that officially here? That it's better for our health if we start swearing more, people.
I'll give you a pass on making that as a conclusive statement.
Well, we certainly need to think about just how bad it is for health. Like you do hear that somebody swore at me and that it was really hurtful. But we need to figure out just how it's hurtful. So Timothy J wants to quantify this. He says, well, has it cause you anxiety or sleep disorders or anything, or is it just because your polite sensibilities have been offended or something?
Right.
Well, I think that's why there's sort of a big difference in the feeling between just regular vulgar words and then when you get into slurs. I think at this point, a lot of people are more tolerant of. Again, as you mentioned, the big, like 4 ones, but nobody's tolerant of slurs. Those are unaccepted across the board, except for the instances we talked about where groups have sort of reclaimed them and retaken ownership of them. Do you think there's sort of different classes of swearing, like different levels of how it affects your brain?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen slurs used in really unusual ways. Like even like the N-word is full of terrible stereotypes about African Americans. Mm-hmm. Prone to laziness or whatever. But then there's all these, again, totally stereotypical positive things like athletic, musical, sexually. Whatever, survivors, tough, and so you'll see people using a slur in a positive way, and they're not even an in-group member. Even people are applying it to non-African Americans in a positive context. I'm really even confused by slurs. So even they're kind of being twisted in ways that certainly make me uncomfortable, but people are doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, and
because it makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I think we're going to wrap it up here. Just one last question. Do you have a favorite swear word?
Yeah.
I love all the poetic ones. Like there's a lot of poetry in rhymes. So things that have a nice musicality to them. So I'm gonna have to go with Motherfucker. It just has a nice rhythm.
Does have a nice ring to it. I guess as a fan of hip hop too, you would learn to appreciate the
Well,
lyricism.
you can see why that's a favorite, because it just fits right into rap music. It rhymes.
It's heavy too, right?
Shakespeare would have loved it.
Yeah.
Oh, he loved swear words. He really did. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks so much for your time today, Darin.
Yeah, anytime. Yeah.
This was Darin Flynn. Again, he's a professor of linguistics at the University of Calgary. And once again, the book is Eminem and Rap, Poetry Race. So we'll be back to you in a few moments. We're just going to throw to another song here.
robots.
They are throwing robots.
Is disrespecting us. Shut up, you face!
Shut up, your face.
What's the matter, you?
You ain't so big.
Me and him are gonna whack you in the lobanza.
Bad grammar overload. Error.
What the hell? Nemo! Dead?
That was a clip from The Simpsons with the actual clip that the study of linguistics is named after, correct, Hannan?
Yep, that's what well, you can see my confusion when I was raised off The Simpsons.
Yes,
That's my only...
And also, Forget You by CeeLo, who, if any of our listeners were in a coma in 2010, probably won't get how that fits into the conversation.
Yeah.
So we had Darin Flynn on the line.
It was so good.
Yeah, that was really informative.
I wanted Darin to rap for us. I was hoping to get a rap out of him, but we didn't have any time. But hopefully, if he's still listening, you're always welcome to call in to Dum Dums.
Or send us an MP3. Just email it over. Whatever.
Yeah.
Hit us up on Twitter.
Ooh.
What's our Twitter account? We'll get that with the phone number by the end of the show. Also, Hannan, if you ever want to ask a guest to rap, please just interrupt whatever stupid question I'm asking and just ask them.
But you were asking such great questions. You know what, Darin was super informative. Like some of that stuff was really interesting.
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff. I don't know why I said some.
That's kind of the point of the show, but yeah, I agree.
I know.
I'm glad. I'm glad we seem to learn a few things. We learned that even though we went in with the intention of trying to not swear as much as possible, we kind of dropped that pretty quickly.
Darin swore the most. He was the most comfortable.
Yeah, but he's a professor. He's allowed. Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
If you have any complaints, though, targeted at us. This is our ship that we're steering, and if we're steering it into the rocks, it's completely our fault.
Yeah, that's
more
true.
so
the
Hannan.
Captain. Yeah, I'm the captain. Is that the leader of the ship?
Yes.
Okay.
The captain is the leader of the ship.
Okay. We just got our Twitter account. It is called @Dum Dums Radio.
And just to clarify, that's DUMS Radio. And also the number, which if you're ever listening here at between 7 and 10, 7 and 8, and you want to give us a call, talk about whatever. Yeah, sorry. That's good alliteration.
Like that?
Anyway, we always welcome callers. It's 647-344-4134. That's 647-344-4134. If you're listening to us live on the internet radio, absolutely give us a call. We'd love to pick your brain a bit. Yeah. Right, Hannan?
Yes, we would. Sorry, I was.
Okay.
I was looking at stuff. But Donnie, because I was thinking about all that FCC stuff, and I tried to look online for banned words, and it turns out that the FCC doesn't actually have a list of words that are banned.
Oh no?
No, there's not a list. They just say like.
So it's all judgment calls.
It's all judgment calls. How do you feel about that?
Hypocrisy, people.
I know.
Actually, we're not supposed to politicize here. The FCC, you're doing what you're doing.
Won't give you a hard time.
No. Oh, I will. Well, luckily here in Canada, where this show is recorded, over at Regent Park in Toronto, Ontario,
Radio Regent,
we are not under the FCC.
Oh, that's great.
So
I was doing all the wrong research.
Yeah, wrong country. Good job, though.
Dum number one.
Hey, it's the internet. I'm sure there could be people from America listening. You guys got a great country. Might want to loosen up a bit.
Yeah.
Joking. Okay, so another thing, just on another topic about swearing is sort of Darin touched on it a bit, but the sort of synonyms for swearing or implied swearing, and he was talking about some of the blogs out there, websites about like words that sound dirty but aren't, and words from other languages that we can kind of sound we had a challenge here to come up with our own swear word. Did you have any thoughts on that over the break, Hannan?
Yeah, because we did on air. I was like, I thought
we are pretty sure we talked about that on air.
I had no memory of this. I didn't think about it. I was so concerned about Darin rapping for us that I didn't think about it. I'm sorry. Did you think of some?
Well, I was hoping that you would take up some time and I could think about it while you were answering.
Oh, I see what you're doing. Just trying to throw me under the bus.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. He said that a lot of swear words have like they're harsh.
Yeah, mouth sounds like
short vowels.
Fun.
Okay.
We'll think about this. We'll take a couple minutes. We're going to throw to another song here that kind of touches on implied swearing, and we'll be right back with you.
There was an old farmer who lived on a rock. He sat in the meadow just shaking his fist at some boys who were down by the creek. Their feet in the water, their hands on their marbles and playthings, and at 4:30 there came a young lady. She looked like a pretty young creature. She sat on the grass. She pulled up her dress and she showed them her ruffles and laces and white fluffy duck. She said she was learning a new way to bring up her children so they would not spit, while the boys in the barnyard were shoveling refuse and litter from yesterday's hunt, while the girl in the meadow was rubbing her eyes at the fellow down by the dock. He looked like a man with a sizable home in the country with a big fence out front. If he asked her politely, she'd show him her little pet dog who was subject to fits, and maybe she'd let him grab hold of her small tender hands with a movement so quick, and then she'd bend over and suck on his candy so tasty made of butterscotch, and then he spread whipped cream all over her cookies that she had left out on her shelf. If you think this is dirty, you can go yourself.
Welcome back. I wasn't expecting the end of that song. We were busy working on our fictional swear words. I got a Post-it note from producer Alex offering to share his favorite word here.
Ooh, Alex.
Yeah, I think my favorite one, it combines 2 4-letter words into an 8-letter word, and it's
Poop fart.
Oh wait, 2 4 letters into an 8.
It's dick fuck. That's
fuck.
personally my favorite one to yell in protest of things or just when I'm upset.
Yeah, that's usually what you use it for. Take that, FCC.
Yeah.
You ain't stopping us.
No, they ain't.
Again, this is all for the purpose of education. But I do believe that swearing does play an important part of language. I just think there's nothing that quite expresses those ideas like a good swear word. Yeah,
and you feel good saying, well, not good, but it actually is like a tension releaser.
Yeah, and there was one thing I did forget to mention to or ask for Darin was just the I lost my train of thought. Anna, take over. Swear. Make up a swear word.
Gong.
Oh, that's
gong
good.
Knock.
Gong knock.
Gong knock.
You're winning so far.
Did
That's
I?
gong knock.
Gong knock. Who knows what it means?
Shut your gong knock.
Yeah,
See?
I like that.
It works.
You used my own word against me.
Flard.
Flard.
Yeah.
Use it in a can you use it in a sentence, please?
Flard off.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
But so we're getting pretty close to the end of the show here. We had a couple more tracks for you. Well, we'll still be here, have some discussion left, but because we have them queued, I'm just going to throw to another song here, and we'll be right back with you.
I'm trying to keep it alive and not compromise the feeling we love. You're trying to keep it deprived and only co-sign with radio does. And I'm looking right past you. We live in a world on 2 different axles. You live in a world, you're living behind the mirror. I know what you're scared of, the feeling emotions inferior. This is vital, I know you had to. This is vital, I know you had to. Die in a pitiful pain. Tell me you're watching the chain. It's way more believable, give me a feasible gain. Rather her seasonal name. I'll let the people know this is something you can blame. On yourself you can remain stuck in a box. I'ma break out and then hide every lock. I'ma break out and then hide every lock. I can feel the changes. I can feel the new people around me just wanna be famous. You can see that my city found me, then put me on stages. To me, that's amazing. To you, that's a quick check with all disrespect. Let me say this.
I am a sinner who's probably gonna sin again. Lord, forgive me. Lord, forgive me. Things I don't understand. Sometimes I need to be alone. Don't kill my vibe. Don't kill my vibe.
I can feel your energy from 2 planets away. I got my drink, I got my music, I will share it. But today I'm feeling, don't kill my vibe. 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 You ain't heard the coast like this in a long time. Don't you see the long line? They waiting on Kendrick like the 1st and the 50th. Threes in the air, I can see you are in sync. Hide your feelings now. What you better do? I'll take your girlfriend and put that on the pedestal. Don't kill my vibe. Don't kill my vibe. Walk out the door and they scream it's alive. My New Year's resolution is to stop all the pollution. Talk to motherfuckers much. I got my drink, I got my music. I say don't kill my vibe. Don't kill my vibe. Don't kill my vibe. Don't kill my vibe. My vibe, my vibe, my vibe.
Get in the car. Come on, we're finna roll out. You got a pack of black.
Welcome back.
Hello.
So we're just about done here. I think we've all had a good time. I hope you enjoyed our inaugural episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Hannan, what did we learn today? What did the Dum Dums learn?
You know I'm so bad at this. I thought it was really interesting when you mentioned the Tourette syndrome in that it varies from culture to culture, and that in Japan.
Yeah, that was really interesting. I had no idea.
That was probably one of the ones that I thought. What was the most interesting thing you learned?
Most interesting thing I learned today. There was a few things that gong knock is better than flard.
Oh yes, always.
But I don't know. It was I have to absorb some of it. I really like talking to Darin.
He had a lot to say. He was really fun. Thank you for being such a really awesome first guest.
Yeah, University of Calgary. If you're interested in linguistics, you might already know him. If you're interested in what he's talked about or what we've talked about, definitely pick up his book. He mentioned a few books as well. I wasn't taking very good notes, so I don't know what they were specifically. But
maybe we can tweet them or something.
We'll tweet them at Dum Dums Radio. So this was Dum Dums from RadioRegent.com. My name was Donnie.
And my name's Hannan.
Today we listened to George Carlin. We'll listen to some Simpsons.
We got some DMX.
Yeah, Party Up. The Assumption song, Arrogant Worms.
And then this kid bop version of TikTok.
TikTok, yep, absolutely.
So
CeeLo, Forget You. And what else did we have here? There was another one. What did we just listen to?
Oh, we had the.
I Hate You.
Did you do that there?
Yeah. Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe.
Bitch
Kendrick
Don't
Lamar.
Kill My Vibe.
All right. Well, thanks so much for your time, folks. And do we have another song, Alex? All right. Well, we're going to let you go out to some music, and we'll see you here next week.
Explosive. West Coast, my push ways to track. Girls that used to turn they back, causing me to yank they arm and pose like I would do them all. Now I'm saying thank you cause they tell me the bomb explosive. For my drinking, smoking, always fat, more than one. Chrome rims, rhino, chronic in your system, let me know. The bomb. Real dogs still kicking with me. All my down, still tricking with me. All the true gangsters know they ain't never loved, no. All the hood rats still shake it for me. All my true fans still check it for me. All the real smokers know they ain't passing nothing but real trees. Please, no seeds. you last night, baby. Before I blew your mind, blew your mind. I thought we had a chance, lady. No more. Now that I'm sober, you ain't that fine. Don't wanna treat you wrong. Don't wanna lead you on. Here, baby, hit the while the West Coast rolls along. While we still making gangsta hits, you'll be still talking gangsta. Damn girl, you think you're slick? Somebody better get this.
These freaks hand the belt to a heat, stomping their feet. Every now and then they put their mouth on me. Nowadays a G like me can't even call it. A 23-year-old fiend and freakaholic, pimping on the regular. I put that on the G. A hustler and a player. Nowadays it pays to be. Let me drop some about this I used to know. She gave your boy that said don't let nobody know. A bonafide pro. I had to grab her. She got freaky in your 64. I skeeted in her throat. Been knowing her for 4 days. Pimpery pays. And I bet you didn't know that she go both ways. She her best friend. I left them at the mo. They be beeping me, but we don't kick it no more. Them hot is fiending. They on the but I'm out your when I for real.
Explosive, 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 explosive.